For the past few months, my family and I have been living on New Life Island. It's actually Pennington Island on the maps here in the Delaware River, and it's summer camp during the summer. They're getting ready now for the summer season. One of the problems they have here in the forest is it's completely choked with giant vines. And Norm, the camp director, has asked me to go around and chop as many vines as possible. And this seems like exactly the kind of job that I would love to do. So I got a nice day. It's a Friday afternoon, and we're going to run around chopping some vines today. I brought 3 machetes with me, a 16-inch Tramontina, my 14-inch Golok, and a parang that was sent to me. And I'll be doing a full review on that one later, but I wanted to give a little side-by-side comparison and maybe talk about some techniques about how to chop things with a machete. They're loaded with water, and you can see how heavy these things get, and they weigh the trees down. When there's a flood here, they pull the trees over. That's why we have to get rid of the vines. But let's get to some chopping. Obviously, on something like this, if I could take it through in one swipe, that's the most economical use of force. A lot of times they're very hard and you won't get all the way through, so you got to come back and do a double cut. Some of these vines are really thick. This one here is about as thick as a small coffee can. And I'm going to use this kind of like a test medium. It's a live vine, I believe, so it'll be a good test medium for all 3 of the blades. Just going to take a full powered chop at this. Now this is kind of convenient because it's already at a 45-degree angle, and you bite deepest on a 45-degree cut. So if I come straight down at this, I should get a good indication of how deep each of the machetes are biting. It's very rare that I actually carry more than one machete at a time. That was the 16-inch Tramontina. This is my Golok. This is the parang. All 3 of them are very similar in the depth that they cut. Let's do a little bit of chopping with both of them, all 3 of them. It's really hard to say which is doing the better job. This is pretty much like green wood that's not very soft. Let's try the 16-inch again in the middle. Well, I've got literally water just running out of the bottom of this vine. Got my canteen cup, maybe I'll experiment a little bit with that. you hear some traffic noise, it's because right across the channel, in between the island and the mainland, right across the channel there's a road, river road, runs right along the river, and that's where the traffic is coming from. I'm not very far off into the bush here. This is just a step away from civilization. This one actually might be dead. It's dead. This is a good vine to show some technique on. This might be a dead vine, I'm not sure. But the idea when you're working with a machete is to use as much economy of force as you possibly can. You swing them all day, it really does wear you out. So if I can make one cut diagonally in here, and I can meet it with another cut coming in the other side, that would be fantastic. Just two chops and I'd be all the way through. Sometimes you only have access to one side of the material, in which case I like to make a diagonal cut down and then notch it, and then make another diagonal cut down and then notch it in there, and then maybe a back cut and pop things free. The idea is just think about what you're doing and don't just whack away at it. Just to plan your chops and use as few of them as you can. An accurate chop, well placed, is much better than 10 chops that are just kind of whack all over the place. I don't always get it right. You make thousands and thousands of chops with the machete. You don't always hit exactly where you want, but it does look good when it comes out right, and that's the clip that you put on the video and make everybody think you're an expert. The magic is always in the editing. So let's try this. Now one back cut, and I missed. Almost through. You can see where all those cuts come together in the center. You have one cut cutting all the way through to here, another one that came through all the way to there, one that came through all the way to there, and one more that came through on this side above it. Of course, it's easier when you can do all forehand strikes walking around the material. Well, this one, the way it's positioned right there next to a tree, I couldn't get around it. One cut, two cuts. And I got my camera all wet. This one, just because the way it's growing, I'm going to have to notch it. I missed on the one cut. You can see there I got through the center with the 3. I missed one and put one low down here. But if you do it right, you can get through something like that. That's about 2.5, 3 inches thick maybe. See against my hand there. Some conclusions. The 16-inch Tramontina is an excellent general purpose machete. For light vegetation, light grasses, it's really good. Really good in thorns and briars and that kind of stuff. These vines are a little bit of a challenge to it. Not that I would have any problem continuing the day clearing with just the 16-inch Tramontina, but I thought it really did a better job on the lighter vines, and the heavier stuff, you're getting into the weight factor, that it really does rely on speed to get through the thicker stuff, the green wood, and definitely a good machete, but a little bit light for this job. My Custom Golok, this was cut down from a larger Tramontina machete. It has I could really tell with the forward weight on this machete that it was doing a much better job than the 16-inch Tramontina, which has its weight more evenly distributed. This just bites deep, and it could be a factor that I'm just used to using the thing, and this is the machete I've been using pretty much exclusively for the last 2 years, and it does a great job in my hands. I love this machete, what can I say? In terms of just cool factor, the parang is excellent. This thing is a native blade. It was made in Sarawak, Malaysia. It was sent to me for testing and evaluation, and I will put a link up to where you can get one of these. This thing is awesome. The handle on this blade is really, really nice. When I started this job about a week ago, I got a few blisters on my hand just because I'm just out of shape. And when I switched to the parang, the handle on this, the smooth wood handle and the shape of it, just conforms to my hand so well that even with the blisters already going, it didn't make them any worse. And actually, they just toughened up, no problem. Definitely the weight distribution on this blade is well to the front, which makes it excellent in chopping into green wood. And you've got a short little blade like that. This blade is only, I believe, 13 inches long, but all the weight's out here, right at the sweet spot, and the thing really just sinks in deep. For a blade of this size, it has a lot of cutting power. Another interesting thing with this blade is the balance point is right there, and the cutting edge starts there as well. So if you're going to use this for small detailed tasks, it's very nimble in the hand because you can do all your detail cutting right there just in front of the balance point, and you can safely hold the parang here in the middle and do all your small whittling tasks, or you can just grab it by the knob at the end out here and give yourself the maximum reach and get a really nice full power chop with this. Now that's chopping into seasoned wood there. The nice thing about it is I don't feel that in my hand at all. Yeah, it just, the force just dissipates away from your hand rather than concentrating it all right on your hand. I love this thing. I would have no problem buying one of these. If you're looking for a traditional blade, you really don't need to look much farther.